recording. There we go. Oops, we've got somebody else coming in. Yes, and Julie just shared with everyone that specific link. So this is tie.link/BK, and that'll just take you to this very simple form. Now let me double check. There we go. We are recording now. So I'm going to start again. My name again is Bailey Kowalski, and I'm a learning specialist with TIE, which is Technology and Innovation in Education. We're located in Rapid City, South Dakota. So today we're going to talk about Google Forms. And I'm going to pull this over to here so I can be talking to the Google form and make sure that we are sharing on the correct site. Perfect. So Google Forms is a tool that is part of the Google Suite. And if your school or your organization uses Google Docs, Google Sheets, then Google Forms is another free part of the Google Drive site that you can use, part of the Google Suite that you can use to give surveys and quizzes. And it's because, first off, it's free, which is a wonderful, wonderful part of it. The fact that it's free makes it so easy makes it very accessible to everybody. They don't have to pay for it, unlike other survey tools. The other nice thing is because it's part of the Google Suite, your results can be just downloaded or transferred over to a Google Sheet so that you can analyze the information. I'm going to show you how we do that. So it does, in here it says that the information is then collected and it's connected to a spreadsheet, again the Google Sheet, and you can get visual representations of what your results are, which makes it really nice. So you can get pie charts and I believe bar graphs also. Google Forms can be used, as I said, for quizzes, really simple quizzes. There's also just survey forms. I'll show you an example of a survey that I used and how we used it. And it's so easy. The forms can be either sent to people with a link. You can email the form to people. You can even embed the form within a website, which I've done at the bottom of this web page to show you what it looks like. So let's continue on. So Google Forms offers numerous, it's more than 15 standard templates that you can use. And the neat thing is that when you choose a template, that template will come up, but then you can go in and change the words to fit what you're looking for. You can also just start with standard blank form. So some of the samples that I made a copy of, you've got some work ones, maybe a time off request, job application. Here's some education ones. An exit ticket, that's a very common thing that teachers use them for in the classroom. When classrooms are one-to-one and the students have devices, they use Google Forms as a quick exit ticket. And the teacher gets those results immediately, and they can respond to them, or they can put them in the grade book or whatever they need to. They can be used as a worksheet, a course evaluation, just numerous ideas. So the basic way that you start is you start with either a blank form, which is this sample right here. So you'd click, and I'm going to go through this with you in just a minute, but you click the Start New Form, and you'll get this blank form, and you start populating these sections. Or the other option is you choose one of these standard templates that they have for you. And when you choose that, so this one was just an event registration, once you click that, then you get sections that are already filled out. But again, you can go in and change those sections so that they work for you. There are several different types of questions that you have to choose from. It usually defaults to multiple choice. However, you can have short answer, paragraph, just check the boxes. You can have a drop down where you have selected choices like male, female, things like that. Students can upload files. So if you're asking students to upload, say, a Google Doc where they've written a paper, they can upload that file there. Linear scale is what we would call, what I know as, is the Likert scale. Wonderful, simple Likert scale that's right here, very simple to use. Multiple choice grid, a checkbox grid, and then date and time. The most common ones that are used would be multiple choice, either short answer or paragraph, and then the Likert scale, the linear scale. Now, I did mention that the form can be embedded into a web page, and so I actually embedded this into this specific web page, and so this was just a sample form that I came up with. And so here it does show that it's required, and that's one of the options that you have, and I'll show you that. I requested that people leave their email address. And then I embedded a video in it, which is another option that you can have. This one I provided several pages. There's 3 different pages, and that's one way that you can do the form, so that they can do the form in sections rather than having one big long form. So anyway, this is an example of an embedded form. So now what I'd like to do is we're going to go over to the Google Forms, and we're going to look at the site, and we're going to create one together. So let me pull up the Google Forms, and I am going to share that page right there. So it looks like we are over there. Now I'm going to see if we're still sharing properly. Right there. There we go. So let me check. There's somebody has made a comment real quick. Can't see any of the samples you're talking about. We're going to, there we go. Okay, there you go. So I just making sure you can see. So right now you guys are able to see the Google Forms. Make sure that we're still on there. Perfect. Okay. Perfect. So this is what the beginning template looks like. So you have these different options. You also have what's called a template gallery. So you can choose from any of the templates, and I'll show you that. You'll notice that you also have this down here. These are the forms that I've already created, and you can also have create a folder of forms if you want, and that's another option. That's sort of something that is used within your Google Drive. So if you want to choose from a template, and a lot of times that's where people like to start because they don't have to think about populating their own forms with their own information. You click on that template and you will see that there are numerous ones that you can choose from. So just contact information, trying to find a time, RSVP, event registration was one that I suggested, time off request. So let's work with, let's just do an exit ticket. So I clicked on that, and you'll see that it's thinking real quickly, and it's going over to that exit ticket. Now that we're in here, we have the option to start changing things. So if I want to call it something else, so I want to call it period 1 exit ticket. Let's say that I'm doing this for a class. Or as a librarian, you may be doing something where you're working with a particular teacher's class. You can put their name in it. That way, that information is separated from everybody else's. So that is this piece. Then you can go down and you can add some sort of a description. If you don't want the description, you can take that out. You don't need to have a description. Then down here, this one is specifically asking for the student's name and their email. And you know what? If they're part of the school, I'm going to say we don't need their email. So I can actually go through and delete a question if I want. Again, I have the choice of what I want, what type of question I'm asking. If you're asking for somebody to just fill out their name, short answer would be the appropriate one. Again, you have paragraph, multiple choice, and so on. So name is usually a perfect one to start off with. And this is then where you can start asking the questions. And this one just says, what is one important thing you learned in class today? So this one is the paragraph, because we're going to need more space to be writing that. This one is, did you feel prepared for today's lesson? I'm going to change this one. Let's say that I want to change this one to the linear scale, similar to a Likert scale. And I could change it to, how prepared did you feel for today's lesson? So how prepared did you feel for today's lesson? Now, you have the choice. You can start at 0 or 1, and you can take this all the way up to 10. So I'm going to start at 1, and this would be not, let's get that right, prepared. And this one could be thoroughly prepared. So I've just, again, this was a preset form that they already had in there, and I populated it with information that was right for me. And this, and to do that, I wanted a Likert scale or a linear scale to help with that information. And this last one is, what would help make today's lesson more effective? Okay, I think that one sounds good. Now, I can go in and I can send it. So I have the option to send it to students by email. Here is where I can send them a link. I can even shorten the link, which really helps a lot of times if you're trying to place it maybe on a web page or in an email. This is the embed code right here, a little greater than and less than sign. And so this is what I clicked on to embed it into my web page. So I can send the form that way. I can also preview the form, and that's a really important one because we want to see what it looks like before we send it out to the students. So here is, when I click on that little eyeball, this is what they are going to see. They're going to see that they need to put their name in. They have to explain what they liked. Here's that Likert scale where they can just put in one of those answers. And then, again, a short answer, what would make today's lesson more effective, and then they can submit. So this was just a real quick example of what I did to change a form that's already in there. Now I want to create a form from scratch. So I'm going to click this box right here, this plus sign, and so I'm going to start by creating a new form. And I'm just going to title this form sample, what are we doing? Webinar form. So I don't really think I need a description, but this time what I'm going to do is I want to create one similar to the one that is at the bottom of my web page. So I'm going to put in a video. And this is where, rather than a question, over here on this right side, I can add a question. I can add a description if need be, so add a title or something. I can add an image. I can add a video, or I can add a completely different section. And the different section is where I do different parts of the quiz or form on different pages. So I want to add a video. And I have a video, video search Pythagorean theorem. So it's going to search YouTube for a real quick video on that. I like this one. I think this one might be perfect for the students. So I'm going to click that there. And what I'm going to write at the top is, please watch this video and answer the questions below. Now, what I'd like to do is just see what this looks like. And when I open this up, I notice that the video is kind of small. And because of that, I think what I'm going to do is come back over here, and I want to make it bigger. And all I have to do that is click on this and expand this. And now this is bigger. So now when I click on preview, now we can see the video is taking up much more of the space and we can see it much better. So that was the first one. Now what I'd like to do is add a question. So to do that, again, you'll see this little plus sign over here. And when I hover over it, it says add question. So when I click that, I will click this, and you'll see that a question has populated down below. You'll also see, not only do we have the add image here, but I also have one here. So I'm going to click on that. And I want to upload an image that I've saved on my computer. You can also take a quick snapshot. You can search images by URL. You can search them in Google Drive. There are different ways, but I have one that I've saved on my desktop. So I'm going to put this one in. And there is the image. There we go. This one already says, what is the length of the hypotenuse? Again, it defaults to a multiple choice. So I'm going to click option 1. Let's see, how about, 16. I'm going to add option 2 of, 17. I want 18, and I want 19. Okay. I can also, if you see these 6 little dots, I can move these around if I want. Okay. Now, I like this. I think this looks good. I have this image in here. Let's see what that looks like. Again, let's go to that little preview eyeball. When I open it up, there's that video that the students need to watch. And oh my goodness, there's the question with the answers. That looks good. Whoops. There we go. Let's go back to this. Now, let me add another question. I want to add this image. Again, very similar, but this time I'd like them to just give me the answer. So I'm going to enlarge this a little bit, and I want them to give me a short answer, and they need to type in their answer there. Okay. And again, I can go up to the top and preview and see what this looks like. There's my short answer. They have to answer that one. Okay. Now, something that you can do, I'm going to go back to the original, is on each of the questions, you have an option. First off, you have this little slider down here for required or not. Some questions you want to make sure that they definitely answer, and so you click that over on required. Down here, you can shuffle the option order. So you can shuffle these, just automatically shuffle them. So if you've got a quiz that students are taking, it's not a bad idea to shuffle these so that if kids look over at somebody else's, they may have less of a chance of cheating because the answer options will be shuffled. The other option is this one right here, which is duplicate. Now on this question, it's not necessary to duplicate it, but there may be times where several of the answers are exactly the same. And an example of that would be like a Likert scale, or what they call the linear scale. If I choose that one where the answers are going to be very similar for each one of them, it's not a bad idea to just copy that question. And so let's go down to here. Let's copy that, and it'll make a duplicate of that. And then all I have to do is maybe change the question that I've asked, or change something in the answer slightly. It's a wonderful, easy way to duplicate that information without having to go through a lot of retyping. Now, let's go to the top of this. I can change the look, and this is wonderful to really help for you as a person who's getting these responses and putting out these forms or quizzes. This is a really easy way to help distinguish them. You can change the background image that happens up here in the header. So let's just choose these purple bubbles. So now when I click on that, you can see these purple bubbles are back there. You'll also see that the theme color is there. You will also see that the background color right here has changed. So if I click on this, you'll notice that this part got a little darker. You'll also notice that you do have a choice of just a few font styles. If you're using it for, say, a way for people to RSVP, a lot of times you may want something a little more decorative. I think for students, I don't know if the decorative one is perfect, but the formal might be nice. And if you're working with younger students, maybe this playful style would be really good. But they have only 4 basic ones, but they do work. They're very helpful. So we can keep this theme if we like it. Then the next piece would be to go over to responses. Now, I'm not going to put the responses here because we don't have any, but I am going to show you how the responses work on a previous one that I've used. Also, up here where it says Untitled Form, if I click on that, it's going to automatically name it what I've named it here, which can be very helpful. You don't have to retype it in. But it's a really nice, easy way to name the form. So let's go back now, and I'm going to show you some sample results. So I'm going to go down to one that I've used previously, and this one was one where I used it as a poll for some teachers that I was working with previously. This was back 3 years ago. And I asked them some questions to find out when doing some of these classes was going to work for them. So over here, you will notice that it says responses 21. So I had 21 people that responded to this survey. So when I click on that, you can see that this many people responded. We can see, are you planning on taking either of these classes? And you can see that this turned up as a pie graph. Really made it easy. You can see 11 people said no, 10 people said yes. Again, do you need to take this? A bunch of people said no. This question was one, like I said, the short answer. And so you can see all the pie charts. Then what I can do is I can view responses in Sheets. So if you are using Google Drive, Sheets is your spreadsheet that is available as part of that Google Suite. And when I go over there, all of these answers are automatically over there. Now I've hidden the names, but you can see there's a timestamp of when they completed this. So you can see that some people did it on responded to the survey on the 17th, other people waited till the 20th. You have the question here and their answers, so you can look at the questions by person and how they answered, or you can also look at the answers that they provided. So the spreadsheet is a really nice, easy way to be able to look at the answers and determine if you're using this as a form, as a survey, to be able to determine what the common answers would be. So we are, believe it or not, at the end of time here. If there's any question, you could pop in real quick, or you can share your answer down here in the chat. If you have any other questions, I'm going to show you my, let's go back up here. I need to make sure that I'm screen sharing properly. Perfect. So again, my name is Bailey Kowalski, and if you just go here, this is a way to contact me. Again, I'm a Thai learning specialist in South Dakota, and please let me know if you have any questions. I hope this was informative for you. Google Forms is a very simple to use, easy thing that teachers use, again, for quizzes. You can use to get just some sample data very quickly. and hope that this was good for you. Thank you guys for coming here, and I really appreciate your time. Have a great afternoon. You're welcome. Yay.